always find middle ground. It can't always be about you. You've got to walk a distance and meet your partner or your friend or your colleague employee. It's not all about you. You're not the center of the universe. Communication is not about winning arguments. You can win the argument and break your marriage. You can win the argument and lose the relationship. You can win the argument and lose your job. You can win the argument and someone gets depressed and you lose them for life. You don't have to prove your partner wrong. Allow your partner to win. You know, the moment you package yourself as a smart person and you let your partner think they're stupid and they're foolish, you are actually foolish. Smart people let other people look smarter than them. Wise people make other people feel good and great and smart. It is people who are foolish who make other people feel foolish. Wise people don't embarrass others. They cover their shame. Love covers a multitude of sins. Selfish people never find middle ground. Wise people will always find middle ground. They know it's not always about them. The Apostle Paul explains how he used to find middle ground in his course of the gospel. So he writes, when I went to the Greeks, I behaved like the Greeks. When I went to the Jews, I behaved like the Jews. To the weak, I became weak to win the weak. I have become all things to all people, so that by all possible means, I might save some. 1 Corinthians 9:22. This is a strange scripture. I have become all things to all people, so that by all means possible, I might save some. He is not compromising his Christian values. He is saying, if I met the Greeks eating pig, I ate pig. I didn't allow eating pig to become a stumbling block between them and the gospel. When I went to the Jews, I did not eat pig, because pork to the Jews is a great insult. If I went to a church where they needed me to wear a long dress because of their culture, for them to listen to the gospel, I wore a long dress. I didn't allow my dress code to stand between the gospel and these guys. If I went to a place where they needed me to wear a turban, in my church we don't wear turbans. But if I go to a place where they need me to wear a turban, for them to listen to me, believe me, I'm going to wear a turban and remove it at the airport. That's exactly what the guy is saying. You don't have to argue with people. Some people here take wine and others don't. Wisdom means don't take wine to people who will be offended by your taking wine. That's exactly what the scripture is saying. You can go and take it back with your people. That's what Paul is saying. To the weak, I became weak. Actually, it is that person who is offended by your dress code, Paul is calling weak. It is that person who is offended by pork or beef or fish. I'm a strict vegetarian. He's calling them weak. But when you go to their place, just eat vegetables. Go back home and fix your meat. To the weak, I became weak. To win the weak, to bring them to Christ. I didn't focus on winning arguments. I didn't focus on our differences. I focused on our common ground. I will always look for common ground in relationships. Key number 5. And by the way, that's one major reason why so many couples break apart. Simply because two cultures cannot merge. My culture says this, your culture says this. And I'm not necessarily saying, for example, I'm from Cameroon and you're from Mexico. No. Even within a certain country, even a certain community or a certain tribe, people have different family traditions and family values. We must look for that common ground. Even in a church like this, we like praying differently. We like doing things differently. But when we come for this, the Catholic Church, they call it the Mass because it's for everyone, the gathering. When we come for such a congregation, you have to compromise. If we don't pray enough, we have a prayer chamber. Go there. Roll down for 3 hours. But don't come here and force everyone to pray like you. Am I making sense? Because we can't all pray the same. That's why Paul says, if you speak in tongues, that's okay. I speak in tongues more than all of you. But when you come to lead prayers in a language we cannot understand, then get back to the prayer chambers and speak in all your tongues. When we come together in a Sunday service, we must find common ground. This is the principle of living together. Does that make sense? Number 5.